Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning scan for January 2nd, 2019. Actually, I almost just said 2018, but we did get a little bit of action here for Bitcoin, and we're hitting a resistance area, so now is a good time to make this morning scan video, see what's going on throughout the market, look for different opportunities, and see what we have. Anyway, I made a few additions to my Bitcoin chart here, and our reasoning for our bids in the green area still stand, but all I added here was this diagonal right here. I think this is just an obvious diagonal. Price is respecting it well. We have at least 2 touches, so that in my book is valid. We have 5 touches here actually, so in my book that's valid as well. I look for at least 2 touches in order for something to be valid, trend line, whatever. So that's all good in my book. And then I was looking for different scenarios to further strengthen my argument for bids in this box. And what I did was pull a fib from the candle bodies at the bottom of this structure here. So what I do, I know you guys have probably heard me mention this a lot, but sometimes wicks on BitMEX are very, very exaggerated just because of the leverage people use, the stop hunts, things like that. So you get very exaggerated wicks sometimes compared to other exchanges. So sometimes the wicks are a little bit too extreme, and I use the candle bodies for trend lines as well as resistance areas, all of that stuff, and for even fib pulls. So in this scenario, I pulled a fib from the bodies of the bottom of this structure to the bodies of the top of the structure. So what I found was our bid area was actually the 0.5 fib, and we're currently bouncing off the 382, but our bid area is the 0.5 fib. We also have the golden pocket right above our monthly open, so our stop loss is here at 3660. So in my opinion, that is very well defended, and if we get stopped out, I think we'll go for the lows at 3570, because look at all that defense there, right? So if I use the wicks instead of the bodies just to see what the difference is here, we bounce off the 0.5 fib, and then again we have the golden pocket just below our entries, as well as the monthly open just below the golden pocket. So still, we have a good amount of defense if and when we get our bids filled. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be a good trade. Hopefully we don't get wicked out if it goes below the equilibrium, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I am risking, how much of my account? 2.5% of my account on this trade. The only thing I really don't like about this trade is the stop loss, because it's a little bit more than I want to risk. But what I'm betting for is a bounce somewhere in this area. Of course, in our bids, that would be ideal, but realistically somewhere in this area above the monthly open. What that would do is give us another higher low. And yeah, so hopefully that goes well. Hopefully we get filled and not stopped out for 2.5% of my account balance. That would be nice. And then Ethereum, I was looking for different setups here. I just created this trading range very quickly. I have a thread on how I create my trading ranges. I can send you guys a link to that if you are unaware of how I came up with this range, but all I did here is, place my range low, equilibrium, all that stuff, but I was looking for long entries because as far as I'm concerned, Ethereum is bullish right now. We did get that daily close above the range high, which is something I was looking at. So if we have that in mind, we are longing pullbacks. But now the question is, where will a pullback most likely be? And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. So if we open up our Ethereum chart on the hourly on this little trading range that I have, let's just pull a fib from the bottom of this structure, the bodies to the top of the structure, the bodies as well, and see what we have going on here. We have the golden pocket right at the daily resistance. That's very, very notable. 139.50. The golden pocket is 140, 139.50. Oof, that's a long. That's 100% a long. 139.50. That's a long. Yep. Beauty. Okay, so I'm not even going to think twice about that. Now what I'm going to do is try and find what strengthens this argument to long at the golden pocket. Okay, so why do I want to long at the golden pocket there? So we saw a breakout above the daily range high, of course. So now ideally you want to see a pullback to confirm the strength of the breakout. That's how I think about it. So okay, we have a breakout, right? This is what follows my pattern here. So this is what I have deemed the UB pattern. It's in the learning material section of the Haven. But basically all it is a breakout and retest. The retest is very, very important to kind of judge the strength of the initial breakout. Okay, so it would be very bullish to retest this as support and then just really pop from there. So this is just the initial move up, and then ideally we want to catch the second wave, which is more stronger. So if we entered into a long position there right in the golden pocket, let's say our entry is 140.20 if I'm feeling very aggressive. A stop below here would be fine. 138 would be totally fine. And then we would target the range high for sure. And then I would find my other targets from the daily chart, but that's almost absolutely a long. Let's see if I can find some EMA confluence. 2 hour, nope, nothing. 3 hour, 4 hour, nothing, okay. Is there any order blocks that I should be aware of? This is a support and resistance flip. We have a gap here. Support and resistance flip, gap. Same deal. That's going to be such a good long entry, I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to increase our bids a little bit just because price did break out. What about if I use a line chart? Yeah, this is perfect. So it was unable to test this area. So it pulled back, tested it, pulled back, tested it. Here's the breakout. So now we want to catch the retest. I think that will be a good trade. Yeah, I'm going to update that and give some updated targets because now, like I mentioned when I first started talking about Ethereum, is you get the first pump, retest, second pump is usually much stronger if the asset is indeed bullish. That's everything I think I want to talk about here. Our original bids were here, 133, but I think that's a little bit too greedy. I really do. So I'm going to put those up a bit. Right here, yep. I'm going to put those up a bit and see how that works out. Also, I want to go over this ZRX trade. I did put in the spot trades channel that I added a little bit to my ZRX spot position. Obviously, I'm underwater, but I'm not worried about it. But to make up some of those losses, I wanted to take this scalp long or scalp spot position, whatever. So I added at 81.70, and this is following my pattern as well. So what I saw here was a breakdown. It attempted to bounce at this support. It broke down, traded under here for a few hours, breakout, retest, and now we have the second pop here. So I'm hoping to hit 36.31 to close that position and end up with a 5.5% gain. That would be very nice. That's really all I'm looking at for today. I don't want to go through the rest of the majors here. Actually, I do want to go through Bitcoin Cash because a few people had questions about that, and I am also questioning this position a little bit just because if Bitcoin and all of these other coins are popping around, it makes sense to me that Bitcoin Cash could be the next one up, potentially. But I don't want to talk myself out of this position yet because price is unable to test the supply zone, right? So we have obviously test, weaker test, strong rejection, weaker test than this test, and then another weaker test. right? So I don't want to talk myself out of this position because now the price isn't even getting up to our entries, which is nice. So what I'm going to do is set an alert at our entry, and when price revisits that area, if and when it does, I'll have an idea of what to do. Maybe just close out at break even, or if it's a weak retest, maybe I'll just add to my position on the challenge account because I'm not in that position on the challenge account. So yes, that's really it. I mean, there's not much going on. We're just seeing if Bitcoin is indeed bullish. It looks like Ethereum is really pulling up the market right now, which is interesting. But I hope you guys enjoyed this morning scan video. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to ask.